All right, take it away.
Welcome back to Geekfecta, the podcast that brings a few geeks' opinions on the world. We are breaking down all of geekdom one podcast at a time. I'm Bill, and tonight we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of geekdom. Lightning is striking, and monsters will arise as we talk about mad scientists. As always, we use our three categories: TV and movies, comics and books, and video/board games. Joining me tonight, as always, are the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of Geek Vice, Morph and Kip. You guys can decide who's who.
I'm definitely Dr. Jekyll.
No, I'm the smart one.
Unfortunately, not with us tonight is my Igor. He is off at Origin, so Dr. Frankenstein has to go on my own from Prolific Games here. There will be no John tonight because he's just being heard and texting me how much fun it is. Where would like to start with? What do we consider mad scientists, guys?
Let's start with film.
All right. Well, as far as like what do we consider a mad scientist? I look up some stupid definition, Webster definition of mad scientist, but I don't really think there is one of those.
Right. This one's more straightforward than some of our other ones, though.
Yeah. I kind of went with what I kind of went with was a character that used science in some form, but then I kind of made some stretch in some of them in more of just the not really crazy mad, but just so damn good at what they do mad. Just that they're always one step ahead. They're so far ahead in thinking that they seem like they're crazy. So kind of like the Leonardo da Vinci of scientists. And I use scientists very, very loosely.
That works for me too. Not all of mine are necessarily bad guys. I kind of went with mad scientists as the guys that they have some sort of science that they created that maybe went farther than what they expected it to do. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So Kip, who do you want to start off with? Movies and TV shows. Who do you got for your best?
Well, this was a tough one because I had a couple that I just could not decide one over the other. One of them is kind of a stretch, but it depends on how you look at it, and that is Young Frankenstein.
Oh, Rob Ruka.
Rob Ruka. Putting on the Ritz. That's just one of those movies when you see it on the TV, no matter what stage of the movie it is, you have to stop and watch the rest of it.
Yep.
And even though it's done in black and white, it makes you think it's older than it really is when you're watching it. But I love Gene Wilder. I think he played a really good Dr. Frankenstein. And
So I also went with Young Dr. Frankenstein for one. I also have kind of two, but it's Gene Wilder, and he plays the grandson of Frankenstein, and he tells everyone that he's Frankenstein instead of Frankenstein when they say it. And he inherits his granddad's castle and like all the experiments and stuff, and then comes there and he's got Igor instead of Igor, and the hump keeps moving from side to side every time he walks in. He's like, wasn't the hump on the whatever. The movie came out on December 15th, 1974, which happens to be the second best thing that happened that month. The first best thing would have been I was born on December 5th. So,
yeah, you're young.
I'm young. I know when you said it's not as old as you think. I was like, that's pretty old. But I got to tell you, obviously I didn't see it in the theaters or anything. I saw it way later when my parents got it on VHS. Right, I was like, oh, you got to watch this. This is hilarious, right? And I think it still holds up today, like you said, because it's in black and white, because it's kind of a timepiece. Like every time you watch it, and like you said, you catch it on TV, and it's in the middle of it. You're like, oh, this part's coming up. They're about to go for the roll in the hay, or he's about to. The horses go. Wah! So it's just, the jokes in there are just, you love them, and I mean it's Gene Wilder at his best.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
which he's just incredible at in and of itself. I mean, he fits that perfectly.
Between this and Willy Wonka, I think those are his two best roles for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's even one that could have gone down here as Mad Scientist. I mean, that
Like,
guy
possibly.
was, yeah.
Oh,
I
God,
mean,
the boat ride.
yeah.
When he's doing we can't tell which way we're going, if it's up or down, faster or faster. You're like, what creepy crap is this?
Yeah.
The drugs were good back then.
I guess.
Oh man, that's probably that's one of my favorite movies, and I want to watch. Like, I was pissed when they redid it.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, you know what? These kids are not even gonna understand, and so it's like I'm waiting. I think this summer I'm gonna break out the original one and let the kids watch that one and see how crazy they end up going.
Well, it's way better than the updated one. The way he plays it. Depp kind of plays it like he plays all his kind of weird characters.
Yeah, total submersion.
Yeah, and Wilder he kind of hits on, like, he goes from like the happy, like, oh, I'm good, to that creepy song, to the you will get nothing, sir.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, okay, you're kind of. Okay.
Yeah, at any point, like, he could just be carrying on a conversation with one person and sound completely normal, and then turn around and talk to the person next to him and sound like a raving lunatic. And it was, it's just talent. I mean, that's just talent. I can't do that.
We should probably pull back into the Mad Scientist. Kip, you said you had another one.
I do, and it's completely different from that, and it's Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
That was my number 2 also.
No kidding.
Right. The 2008 Writers' Strike YouTube phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
Oh my God, my kids love that one.
I do too.
For a
And
while, I could sing every song.
Yeah, it's the first thing I've ever saw Felicia Day in.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
But Neil Patrick Harris plays Dr. Horrible, who is, I guess you would say, an aspiring supervillain, I guess you could call him. And he's trying to join the Evil League of Evil. And so he has his own video blog.
It's run by Bad Horse.
Bad Horse, that's right. Yeah. All I could think of was the thoroughbred of sin. But, and he's thwarted at every turn by Captain Hammer, played by Nathan Fillion, who's just...
He's thwarted because of his blog.
Well, yeah.
Because he has a blog that he keeps doing. Like, how did he know it was there? Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just, and it's a musical, which I usually don't watch, but I can get over that pretty fast. It's just, it's a lot of fun.
In the sense of like old school musical, where people are doing stuff and then they just break out into song, and then when they stop, everyone's just like nothing happened.
Right.
Like it occurred, but whatever. No one acknowledges it.
Yeah.
Like a new musical where they kind of sing as their roles. It's literally like the Music Man, where it's like all of a sudden the whole city breaks out in song, and then dudes go back to sleeping, and you're like, well, what happened? Yeah. Like if you were in that town watching that, you'd be like, huh? These people all on what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, and the best part about that one is, you like Dr. Horrible, and you hate Captain Hammer, even though he's the hero.
Oh, absolutely.
They totally make him just a total douche.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, I hope Dr. Horrible wins. But wait, what? And really, like I know, I'm pretty sure How I Met Your Mother had started at that time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if I had watched it right away. And when that happened, like when I saw Dr. Horrible, I was like, oh yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah, I kind of like him. So, and then
Doogie
I got sucked into How I Met Your Mother, So
yeah.
No, that one is really good. That one is really good. But I'm gonna take us in a completely different direction.
Uh-oh.
for
It's probably wrong.
my mad scientist, and we'll see if you guys even know who this person is. Because Bill, you've got kids, so there's a good chance of this because it's in a kids' TV show. Mad
Well, I bet.
scientist in a kids' TV show, and he is utterly hilarious. It is Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb.
Every time, like when this came up and this was going to be the topic, I was like, this guy has to go somewhere on my list because he is just hilarious. He's a 47-year-old evil scientist that has been trying to take over the tri-state area. At no point do we ever know what the three states are, but it's the tri-state area. And he comes up with these stupid, like, just innators. They're always something innator that to try to take over the area, and Phineas and Ferb just end up inadvertently stopping him. More, I guess, Perry the Platypus stops him.
Yeah, but he's always caught, and then something they do releases him so he can fix it.
Right, yeah, and it is fun. He is goofy. He's voiced by Dan Povenmire, and he is just, like, his voice is just awesome. It's nasally, like, he's got kind of like a German accent type thing to it.
Let's hear it, Morph.
Oh, I can't do it. There's no way. I wish I could have a soundboard for these things because I would love to have just little clips. I would have all kinds of his little clips because he is hilarious.
I don't know if I can do it. I'll try. He goes something like, "Oh, it's Barry the Platypus." And he's got that high, like you said, that high nasally.
Oh yeah.
He's funny.
And he's the foil of the show. Like he's supposed to be stupid, but it's just the fact that he really has no idea how dumb he is. He thinks he's a genius, and it makes it entertaining.
And he's really trying to take over the tri-state area. Show up his brother, who's the mayor.
Yeah. And the innators that he comes up with are always so far off the wall that he has to explain what they're going to do to actually help him take over. Right. Because you're like, huh? What? Like, one of them was like, I think he had like a fry egginator, and it was going to fry all the eggs, but the reason it was going to fry the eggs was because as a kid, his brother always got the eggs, and he always wanted the eggs, and so he's going to fry all the eggs so that his brother doesn't get them, and then that's going to help him take over the tri-state area. Like, what? Right. Really?
Well, and the funny part his brother has no accent.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, like, this thick accent, and then he his whole evil reign became because their gnomes got stolen, and gnomes keep away bad spirits when he was a kid, like their lawn gnomes. And so his dad made him be the lawn gnome. And so he had to stand outside the house all the time.
Yeah.
He's the lawn gnome and never got to play or do anything fun.
Yeah. Kip, you should definitely check out Phineas and Ferb. Even though you don't have kids, I think you would enjoy
cartoon other than like some superhero ones that I can tolerate.
Yeah.
Like they have some cartoons that are so bad. I just want to drill into my head. But that one hits, like, anytime it has a chance for a geek reference, it throws it. Like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, anything. And anytime it can throw in, like, rock references, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, like the what is it? Is it Love Handle? Yep. Is the band that plays, and they show up every once in a while, but like they're always like playing the montage, and the songs are so goofy, like they're just, I mean, it's entertaining. You should check out one episode, and I'm sure it's on. I think it's actually might be on Netflix.
Maybe, I don't know, but it's definitely good.
Every time we surf past the Cartoon Network, it seems like that's the only thing on there.
Oh yeah, it's on all the time. It's got over 150 episodes and a couple of movies. So, you know, this
One
thing
of them
has.
ties over to like the Marvel universe.
Yep, there was a crossover with the Marvel universe. Had Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, and there's somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I can't. But it was kind of funny because they lost their powers in that one, and Iron Man couldn't, because his power was his suit. His suit basically became like a big, like, coffin for him. He couldn't do anything.
Yo.
Oh, the Hulk was in it too.
Yep.
And so they had to bring out like a dolly to roll Iron Man away because he lost his power and couldn't move. It's like, this is awesome. So yeah, check
Okay.
that out.
Let's head out to the worst one. I'm gonna start here because I may say this, and you might all just be like, "Yep, that's it." Mine is the 1996 flaming poo bomb that destroyed anything good I had to remember for Marlon Brando or Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
This
not
one's on-
sure. I think the theme of this movie is we shouldn't play God. I mean, I say that because it was beaten into our head over and over again in the movie.
Yeah,
But
I think they only said it 150 times.
that would be Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yep, that's on my
it
list
is
too.
Horrifically bad.
Yeah.
It makes you weep for Marlon Brando a little bit. Like, you look at it and you go, God, dude, I know you're old, and I know you probably need a paycheck, but you were the Godfather. What are you doing?
I mean, and you had Iceman.
Right?
You had Iceman in it, and he was awful. Well, he was awful as Iceman too, but still. I mean, it was just, it was awful. That movie was terrible.
So bad. And like the whole thing with that, they beat it over our head. They did not subtly try to tell you what they thought of what should happen. It was, we don't play God. You shouldn't play God.
Well, you should
are you
look
playing
at
God? Don't play God.
Yeah, it was bad. And I've heard that I've never read the book by H.G. Wells, but I mean, it is H.G. Wells, and he's got some.
Yeah.
He's got
He
street
got the book.
cred with his writing, so I would think he'd be, would think the book could be pretty good. So this is another one of those.
And his book would be more subtle.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So this is another one of those. We turned it into a movie and we sucked it up.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
it's one of those where, wow, this allegory in this book is kind of hard to read into. So we'll just tell it to you in the movie because you're dumb.
yeah.
Otherwise, you would have read a book.
Exactly. So what do you got there, Tip?
Well, that's a pretty good bomb. Mine takes a tact more towards the B-movie horror, and that is Human Centipede.
Oh.
That is maybe the most
gross
movie I've ever seen. It still bothers me today that I even saw part of that movie. I don't know how much detail I should go into because it's so bad.
It?
Huh?
Did you finish it?
No.
Me either.
No, wait. I take that back. I did finish it.
I did not.
I did.
Could not do it.
So this is called Human Centipede?
Yes.
Oh, you don't know?
I've never seen this, but apparently
don't do yourself a favor and don't.
Apparently there's 3 of them.
Well, don't watch any of them.
No.
No.
Come on, kid. You tell them how they're sewn together.
They are sewn together, mouth to ass.
I was going to say, it says it right here in the IMDb. Awesome.
Yeah, it's bad. It will haunt your dreams for a long time after you see one scene and you're done. Yeah. So that made my list of, it's probably the worst movie for nightmare-inducing scenes ever.
Yes.
Yeah. No thanks. I don't need to see that.
No,
it's bad.
At age 30-something, I was too young to see that movie.
Exactly.
Good to know.
I don't even know what year it came out. Don't care. If you see it,
This
don't watch it.
is 2009.
Let's put it this way. It's one of those things where someone tells you, like, hey, have you seen this? You should really watch it. That laugh should tell you everything. It's as if someone said, hey, have you seen Two Girls, One Cup? Same thing. Don't. Okay? Don't do it. It's not worth it. You don't
It is
ever
not.
Don't.
No. Like I said, I'm still haunted by it.
That's ridiculous that I've seen that horrible movie. I've seen way too many crap things.
Yeah, you need to stop watching bad movies.
I guess. Well, eventually, and everyone goes to bed, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna watch something, and you're flipping through, and you're like, well, I haven't seen this yet on Netflix, and that's one of those things where people were like, oh no, it's kind of gross, but it's weird, and you're like, well, I don't really want to watch that, and eventually you're like, how bad can it be? And you're like, oh, why did I even?
And the thing is it gives you hints before it even gets to that part that this is not going to be good. You're going to regret seeing this, and you still hang in there until you see it, and you're like, oh.
Agreed.
Oh, what was I thinking?
Oh, man. I think I'll avoid that one. That one is not going on my list of movies to see.
Please.
Well, this is the Geekfecta public service announcement. Human Centipede.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Women and children. Men, not see this movie. Instead, claw your eyes out, smash your hand with a hammer, do whatever you want to induce pain instead of seeing Human Centipede.
Yes.
There you go.
The more you know. So,
Everyone boycott Tom Six for writing and directing all three of them.
oh my God.
I can't believe they made 3 of those.
I didn't know there were 2 more. So.
The third one just came out this year, 2015, and it says it's the final installment.
Oh God.
Well, of course. Well, the first one was probably really just setting it up. The third one's probably amazing. You'll have the hammock one in the middle. It'll build to the final plot, and like all trilogies, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
They have to build pathos, So should we move on to written or
Yeah.
game?
Does Morph have his worst?
My worst is the same as Bill's, was Island of Dr. Moreau. Yeah. Yep.
I figured
bad.
I hit someone with that one.
Just bad. And I saw that one as a kid, and that was just bad. Just bad. Nothing else I could say other than it made me want to. It actually made me hate one of the guys I was friends with because I was at his house, and he's like, "We should watch this movie." I'm like, "All right, whatever. I don't care. It's 10 o'clock at night, and we're just trying to stay up." So we watched the movie, and I'm like, "I actually hate you for making me watch this movie."
That's awesome. Oh,
So yeah, I got that going for me.
another service announcement. Do not watch Island of Dr. Moreau with friends. You will lose them.
Yeah, don't make them watch it.
That's
So,
awesome.
all right, let's go to comics and novels.
Okay.
This is where I put a little bit of a stretch to some of my definitions of scientist. So I guess I'll go first since I brought this up. My best is actually this is probably the biggest stretch of them all, and it's Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay.
I went with Lex Luthor just for the simple idea that this guy it's kind of the Leonardo da Vinci type thing. He is so far ahead in his thinking, in his planning, and in his preparation that's the only way he can compete with Superman, who's somebody who's completely outclasses him in every other aspect. So it's just this idea that when people start looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? You really are stupid. You're really crazy. and then all of a sudden by the end you're like, oh, that's what you were doing. Like, he is about the only good thing. Well, I wouldn't say he's the only good thing. He's one of my favorite things of Superman comic books, and I am not a big fan of Superman comic books, so I went with Lex Luthor.
I'd agree.
Smashing.
I'd agree. Kip, what do you got?
I actually have nothing. I could not think of anything I'd read that had anything to do with mad scientists whatsoever. I tried to, like, let's just totally stretch this out to its thinnest line we could do, and I couldn't come up with anything. I don't think I've actually read anything with a mad scientist in it.
Wow. So, I'll go. Mine actually comes from Mike Resnick's Tales of the Weird West. And it's not so much mad as a scientist who's really cool in these books, and it's Thomas Edison. However, the Tales of the Weird West is a steampunk version of the West. And so what has happened in the books is the United States is kind of stuck, like the Caucasian part of the Americans are stuck east of the Mississippi and they can't cross because also in this book magic is around, and the Native American chiefs have kind of put up a thing where people can't cross, like the whole armies can't cross over, and single men can here and there, but not like masses of them and whatnot. And so the West is like the old West feel, there's gunfighters and there's this, but there's no government type thing. And Edison is sent across to try to figure out how to break this enchantment or spell or whatever you want to call it. And so he creates guns that are like energy driven, and the book is really great because it follows Edison, Buntline, and basically Doc Holliday. And actually, so not the greatest with times for history, and because I've never read anything where they actually interacted, I couldn't have told you that Thomas Edison and Doc Holliday were at the same time. It's cool because like there's a lot of historic fiction where like the history's close, like, oh, this is what was happening at this time, and it's neat how they go steampunk instead of just straight old West. And so Edison is doing this stuff, and the books haven't finished. Like there's been a few of them. You see how Doc Holliday has interacted with some of the Native American chiefs and all this stuff, but it hasn't finished. And you kind of get the sense of like, is Edison really doing the right thing? Should you be breaking down all these walls? Should this happen? It is what it is. Not that it's the mad scientist part of the book, but since I'm on the book, it's kind of funny because Johnny Ringo comes into it, and the Native American chiefs are kind of worried about Doc Holliday because he's that good. And so Holliday's like talking to one person. He's like, I'm not really afraid of many people. I heard Ringo's dead and another guy's in jail, blah, blah, blah. Well, they bring Ringo back as a zombie. So, as they're talking and stuff, it's funny because they play Doc Holliday a lot, like when he's talking to Edison and Buntline, where they're like, oh, so this must be like your worst enemy. He's like, no, if we weren't trying to kill each other, I'd probably like them. So, that whole Doc Holliday stuff. So those are really good books if you get a chance to read Mike Resnick's Tales of the Weird West, and Edison is definitely the mad scientist in the book. So
I have to check that out.
Yeah,
that way I can actually say I've read something with a mad scientist.
There you go. The worst. I'm gonna start this one off because we'll see again if I can hit Morse and steal his throat from under him. I don't know that I can, but I'm going to go with the worst comic book villain ever. Ever. And if you say it's not, you're lying. That's Marvel's Stiltman.
Stiltman.
Wilbur Day, born in New York City, scientist, inventor, engineer. He's employed by Carl Caxton, who invented a hydraulic ram device. Wilbur stole his designs and used them to engineer not something that could bust down doors, not something that could like lift buildings off so you could walk into vaults. No, telescopic legs. Go high over the ground.
Hold on now. Do you know his real name?
Wilbur Day.
It's Wilbur. His name's
Yeah.
freaking Wilbur.
And his battle suit, is he can go to second stories, and get in and steal stuff and leave. And when a villain or when a superhero comes to fight him, he can fall really far.
Yeah. Yep.
Like literally, you created stilts, really
Yep.
high stilts.
Wow.
Worst inventor ever.
Yeah. Well, he was created by Stan Lee, so Stan Lee gets a pass for making this guy.
All right.
It was his drug years.
Stilt Man.
His first appearance, actually, he will be showing up here in a few years on a Netflix series because his first appearance was Daredevil. So, yeah, Daredevil needed stupid people to fight. Actually, Daredevil probably has some of the worst rogues gallery.
Yeah.
And it's...
Frog.
Oh, yeah. It's
Stilt
bad.
Man.
Yeah, it's real bad. So, I can't argue with the fact of Stiltman being the worst. I honestly didn't even think of him. Maybe because
he's so forgettable.
Yeah, maybe because he really is worthless, and I am pretty sure he hasn't been in the comic books in a really, really long time.
Actually, wasn't he part of the whole Tony Stark stuff getting stolen?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, he showed up in Daredevil number 22 in January of 2013, so he has been around, but apparently I just haven't been reading the right comic books.
Ooh, and you know what he did in that comic book? He got really tall and then fell.
And then
I haven't read it, but I'm guessing.
Yeah. Apparently there's a lady Stiltman, too.
Oh, my Lord.
I didn't realize that. Wikipedia is so awesome.
Stilt girl, huh?
And they create a stilt stroller for their baby.
No, and here's the thing, though, Kip. No, they couldn't have been smart and go Stilt Girl. No, her name is Lady Stiltman.
Oh, my
jeez.
God.
They really were on drugs when they came up with this.
Oh.
That sounds like something you get for, like, a woman would get for shaving her legs or something. That's
but here's
Stiltman.
Here's a really good. Lady Stiltman reappears as a member of Misty Knight's villain group for Heroes for Hire, which is supposed to be a Netflix series coming up. Maybe we'll get to see Stiltman.
Do we dare dream?
I mean, it could be awesome.
It could be the downfall of the series.
So since Kip didn't have any good ones, I'm gonna guess he doesn't have any bad ones either.
You are correct.
So we'll just skip over you, and I will go to a mad scientist that drives me up the wall in the comic books. And I actually think he is a terrible character, and he was terrible when they portrayed him in the movies, especially when he showed up on the TV screen. And that's Armin Zola.
Don't know about this one.
You will know this one because he was in The Winter Soldier. He was in when Captain America finds that base under that hidden...
Oh, yeah.
And then it gets blown up. That's who he's talking to. The consciousness of a mad scientist who is put into the electronics. He has found a way to move his consciousness from a human body into a flash drive, basically, and now he can be in any stupid things. And in the comic books, he had a stupid TV for a head, and it was really dumb, and I don't really like him, so I put him as my least favorite mad scientist.
I will say, though, he brought his consciousness, put it into a flash drive somehow. Sounds like Lucy.
Yeah. Well, and here's the part that just is so dumb is, okay, with Lex Luthor, granted he gets beaten by the bad guy. You know, Superman defeats him, but Superman is stronger, faster, better at everything than him. Armin Zola is supposed to be so smart that he can save his consciousness so he can never die, yet he's not smart enough to outsmart Captain America. It's like, Captain America is not bigger, faster, stronger, and invincible. He is beatable, but Armin Zola was too stupid to be able to do that. And it's just like, it's just dumb. It was dumb.
So what you're telling me is he can get his consciousness into a computer, but he can't think to just not shoot the shield and hit him in the head instead?
Exactly.
Like, hey, guys, aim for the head. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good plan, boss.
Exactly. So last topic is board games and video games. Kip, you start us off with this one since you didn't have anything last time.
Oh, I see how that works.
Yep.
Well, I'm
gonna
going to do
something.
I'm going to do a board game, and
really?
I know it's surprising, and it's not really about the mad scientist. It's more about his creation, and the game is Fearsome Floors.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
It's designed by, what's his name, Friedman Freeze, and basically each person has 4 character tokens that are 2-sided. One side has a movement amount like 6, and then you flip it over and you have like 1 or 2. I think when you flip them over, the 2 sides add to 7, I think is how it works. So on one turn, you move the person in, flip the token over. The next time you can move them, it's that amount. And you're in a dungeon, and you're trying to get from one side of the dungeon to the exit, but there is a monster lurking in this thing, and it's basically controlled by the game, which means everybody moves, and then you flip over this tombstone marker, and it tells you how many spaces the monster goes. Sometimes it says 5 spaces, 7 spaces. Sometimes it says moves until it kills 2 people, or it moves until it kills 1 person. And its movement is controlled by, it looks forward, looks right, looks left. If it doesn't see anybody, it moves a space, and it does it again until it finally sees somebody, and then it turns and goes in that direction. So you try to position your players so you can maneuver the monster to take out your opponents. So there is a little bit of a strategy, chess kind of a component to it. And it's one of those games that's really easy to learn. The rules, which are awesome, are set up like a comic book.
Yeah.
And it's just easy to learn. There's more strategy to it than you would think, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a good game to start off a game night with, so I picked Fearsome Floors.
I do like that game. That's one of my favorite games.
I've never played it. So.
Really?
Nope.
You should check it out. It's really fun. The kids that get it, they'd be able to play it real easy.
Yeah, the kids would like it because the monster has all these cardboard pieces, and you can kind of create your own monster.
I see that.
It's got different heads, different torsos, different arms and legs, and they can make their own little creation.
Cool.
Even though it's a kid's game, I still like it.
For my favorite, it seems like I keep going back into the old video game nostalgia every time I choose a favorite game where I'm looking for something. And for me, I was looking at all the old mad scientists that are the bad guys in all these games, and I had to choose the one that gave me hours of play. Because unlike most of my friends who all got the Nintendo, somebody had the Sega Genesis. So I'm going to go with Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the guy is so evil and mad that he takes small forest creatures and puts them inside of metal machines and then sends them out to you. And the only way to stop them is to jump on the things and make them pop out. So,
I love the fact that you picked Dr. Eggman as your favorite because I picked him as my worst.
I figured.
I think he's stupid.
Why?
There was, like, I never understood Like, and it was the way the games were written back then, back in those days, because it was like, but with Mario Brothers, like Sonic and Mario were competing against each other. They always have been, they always will be. Mario, you were going after Bowser to save the princess.
Which was in another castle.
Why was Sonic going after Eggman? Like,
because he's trapping all the forest critters.
Why is he trapping the forest critters? Because he's trapping them to go after Sonic. It's like, this is just like the endless loop of, like, I just didn't get it. Like,
it's the deep philosophy of it. Did Sonic create Eggman, or did Eggman create Sonic? Whereas Mario's just going after Bowser, and he's like, "Oh, I saved you." Nope, your princess is in another castle. Oh, darn! Why is this plumber in this fantasy world?
Come on.
Trying to go after. I'm just saying, you're pulling out the I don't understand weird video games. You got mushroom people and giant dinosaurs and.
Oh yeah,
Look, here's the deal. All I know is I played Sonic when the Sega Genesis first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's when I played it, and so I didn't have reference of years later, like the early World of Warcraft. Well, not Warcraft games, or even some of the better RPGs that eventually came out and stuff. Like, I didn't have any storyline stuff. It was, oh look, I got Sonic, and I can make him do this loop-de-loop, and I can make him do this, and.
Well, and I will say this.
And I'm going to tell you, it was between Eggman and whatever the guy's name is in Mega Man, because those are the only two mad scientists I can think of.
Yeah. Well, he almost went on my list too.
As bad?
Well, no. Well, just kind of as. No, he would have gone in probably the good category, because the way he created those bad guys for Mega Man, those are freaking awesome. Like, I want to be. Give me those powers. That would be awesome. I want to be Cutman.
Dr. Wily?
Yeah, that's it. I want to be Cutman, where all it is my hand shoots scissors at you.
Right. No, I mean, that's cool, but a squirrel as a giant mech thing, come on. That's pretty awesome.
All right. I see your point. I still don't like Eggman. So since we already went to my worst, I got to go to my favorite, my best, and this is this maybe a stretch for a scientist, but I think in the later games, it is a video game. Surprise, surprise. In the later games, you find out that this is actually that there is an actual person behind this, but it's a she, and she is known for her narcissistic, passive-aggressive, sinister, and witty nature. She is a genetic life form and disk operating system. It is GLaDOS from the Portal system, from the Portal games. Just not a scientist in the sense of creating wild creatures, but a scientist in the sense of capturing somebody to see what they're going to do, and it's almost like I almost treat her like a psychological scientist, just how can she fuck with your head and twist you around and put you in these situations where you have to try to get out of this. And because that's what it is. It's just Portal is just a puzzle solving game. It's not overly complicated, but the way they wrote the GLaDOS character is just awesome. It's just awesome. And I like her just because she's passive aggressive, sinister, and witty.
I guess I just thought you put two holes in somewhere and moved across the board.
Pretty much.
I've never really played it, so.
That really is all the game is made up of. It's not an overly complicated game, but the GLaDOS character, like, it's the little comments that she makes as you're playing the game, or when you fail a couple times, you can die and start that level back over again. It's a very simple puzzle solving game, but or if you break it down to its its core, it's just a puzzle solving game. But the way she sits there and you feel like somebody's watching you as you're going through this stuff, and she makes comments with what you're doing and makes fun of you and pokes, just pokes at you, and it's almost like she's trying to make you angry. You actually feel like she's responding to you, and I find that entertaining. It's really well done. So there you go. And you've already got my worst. So
I do not have a worst. I don't have any board games that I've played. I mean, I know there are some out there, but I haven't played any that are that I think are horrible. I think I've only played one that has mad scientists. As for video games, I couldn't think of anything where I was like, oh my god, that's just lame. Because obviously I went with Eggman and you didn't. So. But yeah, I don't have any game that hits on mad scientists. How about you, Kip?
Well, kind of. It was a good cartoon movie for the kids, but I thought the video game sucked, and that was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That was the only thing I could come up with that had a mad scientist that I didn't like playing.
There you go.
So there it is. It's it's a kid's game. I'm not a kid, though my wife would argue that point. And I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it at all. The character is what it is. The gameplay just was not great. So that's all I got.
There you go.
Yeah, I will say that coming up with a bad mad scientist for games is actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. I think there'd be a whole bunch of them that are just like, oh, this guy was so stupid and he ended up, But a lot of the times I think when they put a mad scientist into a video game, they end up just being goofy.
Yeah.
They don't end up being like the evil genius type thing that you usually end up hating. It's just they become comic relief, and it's kind of hard to hate comic relief.
Right.
This is true. Yeah, I could only base mine off of gameplay. I almost picked BioShock Infinite, even though it got great reviews and everything like that. I couldn't play the game and made me motion sick. So I couldn't blame that on the mad scientist. So I actually.
I'll say this for Dr. Eggman: if you play Mario and Sonic Olympics, he sucks. He's so slow. He's not as good at strength as some of the other guys.
That's because he has this giant body and these tiny pencil legs.
Right. So there you go. In that game, he's horrible. Any last thoughts, gentlemen?
This was actually, I had a lot of fun going through trying to figure these out. The TV and movies section came to me fairly easily. The other ones, it took a little bit of research and thinking about. But yeah, other than video games don't like bad mad scientists, then I got nothing else.
Yeah, I found it tougher than I thought it was going to be. On the film side, it was tougher because there's so many choices, especially on the good side. There was so many movies and TV shows that I could have picked. Print was really difficult because I couldn't think of any that I had read. Maybe it's because I just don't read. I don't know. Maybe I had a good mad scientist coloring book or something when I was a kid. But it was fun reliving some of this stuff. It made me watch Young Frankenstein again and things like that. So it was a good category.
Well, my last thing is I almost for game for the good mad scientist, I almost put down the creepy crawler lab thing I had, where you get to be like, ooh, I was the best mad scientist ever. But I thought that was cool. a little cheap, so I didn't go that route. But that's all I got. So, gentlemen, this wraps up our mad scientist. We can go kill the monster, put it to rest. Next time on Geekfecta, we'll talk about some barbed wire, maybe a little witchblade, and cover some badass women. So,
Excellent.
later.
Later.
See ya.